A letter came to Robert Fig from Amalgamated Thingamajig. Dear Mr. Fig, the letter said, the applications have all been read. Your resume sets you apart. You've got the job. When can you start? This good news came as no surprise. Rob's legal star had been on the rise. His private practice had made it big, but he craved an in-house counsel gig. It was not about the dough he'd make. He sought the chance to move and shake. In this new job, he had no doubt he'd get to wield some corporate clout. He'd be the hirer, not the hiree. Perhaps a golden parachute retiree. So as soon as laptop could be found, he emailed back, how does next week sound? Those early days at Thingamajig were heady wine for Robert Fig. Acquisitions, mergers, proxy fights, and one bitter war for the patent rights to a product called Godzilla glue. Rob won that case, got court costs too. Soon after came a call for Rob from Consolidated Thingamabob. I'll be brief, Mr. Fig, so hear me out. Advancement's what this world's about. You're working for a small fish, Fig. We're 4 times the size of Thingamajig. So here's the deal, Fig. May I call you Rob? We've watched your work here at Thingamabob. We want you to fight our corporate wars. Think penthouse apartment, fine wine, cigars. We'll triple your staff and double your pay. We want you real bad, Rob. So what do you say? When Fig gave his notice at ATMAJ, they could scarcely believe he was going away. Though outwardly friendly and wishing him well, inwardly they wished Robert Fig straight to hell. Not to Thingamabob, their Godzilla glue rival, the product they'd need for their very survival. But Rob loved his big new office and his fancy new car. Why, he'd not been so happy since passing the bar. Then the CEO stopped by to greet him and to say, we're happy that you're with us, Mr. Fig. And by the way, it's important that you and your staff stay on pace. So start the appeal of the Godzilla glue case. Oh, I can't, Mr. Jones, cried a frantic Rob Fig. I handled that matter at Thingamajig. I'm ethically barred. I quite strongly feel I cannot be involved in this patent appeal. No research, no briefing, no input at all. What we need here, I think, is a stout Chinese wall. You lawyers just slay me with your ethical talk. I ask one simple thing, and you sit there and balk. A winning appeal sinks Thingamajig. So where does your loyalty lie, Mr. Fig? I'll make this real simple. If you don't do this job, you'll be ex-corporate counsel at Thingamabob. Rob Fig sat alone in a bar late that night. He knew what would save him, but he knew what was right. So he slept like a baby, and first thing the next day, he called Mr. Jones and had this to say. You gave me a Lexus, and I must say I love it. I'll leave the keys in my desk, and this job, you can shove it. A fairy tale ending would have Robert Fig welcomed warmly back home there at Thingamajig. But he'd burned all his bridges. They did not want him there. And Rob didn't blame them. In fact, to him, it seemed fair. So his corporate life over, Rob thought, what the hell? He's back in private practice now and doing very well. But this saga is not over. I'm glad to say there's more. 3 years later, Robert Fig was in a hardware store. He was walking toward the checkout stand. His shopping there was through when he saw a product on the shelf. It was Godzilla glue. And as he read the label, joy filled our Mr. Fig. Proudly made and sold, it said, at Amalgamated Thingamajig.